Hey y'all, Nova here. The BattleBit Devs released their 5th devcast this week. In it, they had information about community servers, their APIs, how Oki will be giving information about them. They talked about Make-A-Wish as well, and finally they talked about their Voxel game mode. I watched the entire 1.5 hour video, and I'm condensing it down so you don't have to watch the whole thing. So starting off with community servers, Oki thinks that new maps and new weapons won't make the game more interesting, and that's why he is focusing on community servers this month, as he thinks this will keep the game fresh a lot more than new maps and new weapons will. He said that on Battlefield 4 he almost never played official servers and played mostly on community servers, so it seems that this is also coming from a personal standpoint. There are concerns about XP, as they're worried about community servers for farming XP because they do want there to be progression on community servers. So they will have different ways of stopping this from happening. I'd assume they'll probably, he said that they don't want to have like an XP per hour cap because some people just play better than others, but they are going to have like an agreement with server managers and stuff like that to make sure that they don't allow XP farming. I don't know how this is going to go. That sounds like an absolute headache, so we'll see. They sort of said that there are going to be official partner servers where they will make sure that admins don't have any modding access. So this doesn't mean they won't be able to like change what game mode and stuff, but they won't be able to make, spawn up. The example he used is spawn a bunch of vehicles and then just let players destroy them over and over again, right? Because vehicles right now pretty much give the most XP because you get like almost 2,000 just for killing one vehicle. So then there will also be self-hosting community servers where no progression will happen in these, and you're responsible for storing your own player stats. I think in the partnered servers, I don't know who's going to store the stats. I guess it may be the server provider. But then Oki explained how APIs work and gave sort of a more in-depth thing. And then he also talked about what you'll be able to do with the API. So I'll go through some examples of what he said you can do, just so you have like a rough idea. He said that you will be able to limit the number of classes per team. So say you only want like 2 snipers on your team, you can do that. You can also disable classes altogether. So if you want like to disable all of the classes except for sniper, you could have a sniper only server. And it looked fairly simple. Pretty much anyone could probably do this coding, especially guys, now that ChatGPT is released, anyone can use ChatGPT to code. So if you put in the code that you have and have ChatGPT ask it to code for you, it'll generally be able to do it really effectively and well. So I'd highly suggest, if you want your own community server but you don't know how to code, use ChatGPT, read Oki's documentation when he releases it, and I promise you it'll be a doable task even if you have 0 coding experience in the past. They said that you won't be able to sell access to guns or skins in the game, but they do want to allow you to monetize your own servers since servers cost a fair amount. So one example he said is you can like pay to be a sniper. I don't like this example very much because it's a little bit sus, but yeah, so they're not against servers making their own money. They said that like one thing you could do is like pay to like get to level 200 immediately, but again, that's sort of like pay to win because some of the later guns are pretty OP. So I don't know. I don't think they've fully fleshed that out. I think they're gonna have a EULA that you have to sign if you're gonna monetize your server, and I'm sure they'll figure that out eventually, but they're definitely not. They don't have clear set rules on that, so hopefully they do a good job on that. And then apparently you will be able to, as I said, you can set player rank, and then they will also support C# officially. That'll be the coding language. Like I said before, guys, if you don't know C#, that's okay. I mean, but Oki said it'll be easy to do, which he'll have documentation. And then again, if you don't know how to do something in C#, just ask ChatGPT. It is an amazing coding helper, and you don't need to pay. Just use the free version, and it'll work just fine. So there are other ways of customizing a server. He gave an example of if a player kills another player in a specific zone, say it's like a safe zone that you set, you can then teleport the killer to a specific place in the map. So say you teleport them to a jail that they're stuck in for a specific amount of time, and then you can teleport them back. So this really leads to some interesting customization that you can do. And I think until we get our own map editor, it won't be anything too crazy, but once you can make your own maps, that will be amazing. They said that they are planning a map editor in the future, but up until then, it's pretty hard to import their own maps because they said something about it being like client and server side. So I think until then, it'll be pretty hard to use maps, but once they're custom maps, man, people are gonna go nuts, I'm sure. They're talking about so the things that you can enforce easily, you'll be able to enforce the classes people play, the maps and game modes. So these are the number one things. People are so tired of playing Wakistan, Valley, whatever. So they want to, and they're also tired of playing Conquest. So there will be game mode specific servers. I'm sure that'll probably be some of the first ones. Also probably like sniper only servers, etc. So Oki, as I said before, he will create documentation to help people with less coding experience, something he didn't say, but I would suggest, again, use ChatGPT. You will have to apply for community servers, and Oki is planning on making the community servers show up in the server browser. So I don't know how the applications will work or how many they're going to get. I also have no idea how much they're going to cost, so a lot of questions there. Oki did give a ton of examples in the documentation of how people could code the servers. I'm not going to go through them all, already went through a few. If you want the specific examples, just skip to about halfway through their devcast and you can find them there. Oki said that the ETA is either next week or next week, so that's pretty impressive. So that's looking like August 9th or August 17th, I'd assume, or 16th, I guess. And that's really honestly sooner than I thought. I'm definitely going to try to apply for a community server. I don't know how expensive it'll be, so we'll see on that, but I've honestly been thinking about maybe making like a ranked server and having it be like 8v8 or maybe 32v32, and I just think a ranked server might be fun with maybe 16 actually. That might be the perfect amount. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. I don't really have time to moderate a server and then also do YouTube and everything else, but I just think it would be cool to run ranked server. So we'll see. So they also, someone in chat suggested to be able to report servers for shady shenanigans, which I think is a wonderful idea. You know, if a server's, I don't know, if a server's breaking EULA and they're XP farming, stuff like that, it's good to be able to report servers. So I hope they make sure they add that before they make community servers go live. Okay, so that's pretty much it all on the community servers. Next, they said they are going ahead with Make-A-Wish. Larry got in touch with them again. Larry said that he actually didn't do any skin work or map work. Pretty much no artwork this week. He was in a ton of meetings apparently, and he's been as well as talking to Make-A-Wish. So they will be making skins that will donate to charity when you buy them. Larry is going to build a store page for that, I believe, and they're going to start with probably a hat. I'd assume they talked about a cowboy hat last time, so I'd assume that's probably what it is. I think it'd be fun to, you know, have a pistol only server where everyone wears the cowboy hat, whatever. But anyways, so yeah, they've talked about the cowboy hat before, so I'd assume it's probably that, but I'm not sure for sure. And then one thing I am worried about with all this is that they're not, like, I know they don't want to do microtransactions and they want to keep the game cheap and all that. And they made a lot of money, but they gotta start figuring out how they're gonna have cash flow in the long term. I think it's short-sighted of them to not think of a way that they can have cash flow themselves, because the money they got from launch, unless they like invest it and make enough off their interest to run the servers forever, they're not going to have infinite money. So I think they need to figure out a way that they can personally make money themselves and not just donate it all to charity. And I know they said no microtransactions, but maybe an expansion, like a ton of new maps and like a pack, just some people don't like that. I don't know. They need to find a way though, because again, their money will not last them forever, especially with how expensive their server costs are. They have to pay their lawyers, they have to pay you know, everything. So they're anti-cheat team as well, so find a way to do that. So next, they talked about their Voxel game mode. It will only be on community servers, as I said at the very beginning. They currently only have 2 like specific game modes within the Voxel game mode, but Oki did say that they're planning on adding more game modes in the future. I think the Voxel game mode is really cool. I haven't quite figured out what the best ways of doing stuff with it will be, but I think that if someone made like a BR in the I know everyone's tired of BRs, but if someone made a BR in the Voxel game mode, that would be really cool. Stuff like that. So anyways, that's about it for the devcast this week. It was pretty much only on community servers. Pretty much the whole thing was, it was a bit of a slog to get through just because there was so much technical aspects, but I hope that I condensed it down a bit and it wasn't a slog to watch through my video. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching the whole thing. It means a lot to me, and I know I haven't had as many videos coming out. I've been traveling a lot recently. I'll try to get back on track, and I don't know if I'll be able to make a video every day because I sort of did all the low-hanging fruit, so I'll probably be making a video every other day or so. And Dark and Darker is hopefully coming in early access soon, so I may be making some videos off of that, so don't be too surprised if I pivot from BattleBit just for a little bit, not permanently. I like to cover more than one game on my YouTube channel. I always have. And I'm also, when Tarkov vibes, I'll probably make a couple videos on that as well. So that's just what's coming up in the future for my channel. And I've been live streaming pretty much every day for about an hour or 2, so feel free to stop by those. I did have a pretty consistent schedule, but now since I'm home with my parents and I'm visiting them just before university starts back up, so I don't know exactly what my streaming schedule will look like, but anyways, if you see me streaming, feel free to stop by. And yeah, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks to my channel members, Jed, Professor Oak, and Astrel. I really appreciate y'all for supporting my channel, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Good luck in your battles this week, and have a good one, y'all. See you next time.